So Venom 3, The Last Dance was better than I thought it was going to be. That's it. Roll the credit. What hit him? Knock, knock, let the devil in. Okay, but seriously, I almost don't want to make this video because I'm tired. Just got home from said Le Theater. But, I mean, it was better than a lot of other movies I saw this year. Actually, I never saw this one, but I heard it was really bad. But yeah, I mean, in the line of all these other like Sony and even like villain movies, for the most part, I think a lot of us are kind of tired of the villain movies, you know, kind of making them out to be like these anti-heroes in a way. You know, I kind of miss when, you know, villains were villains and they were just bad guys, you know. That's one thing, you know, I'm a big Spider-Man fan when I was younger, you know, especially watching like this amazing pieces, you know. I won't say cinema, television. Aerosmith Solo, right? Or whatever his name was. But I guess the Venom movies kind of get a pass since they were going with the Lethal Protector storyline, which, yeah, I'll give them that, you know, they can have it. But yeah, this movie was, because I came in this movie thinking that it was going to be like a 5. I've been pretty disappointed with a lot of just movies in general in the past couple of times. I almost didn't even go see this movie. I was like, I'm just maybe gonna wait till it like comes out. Me, like, hey, I got nothing to do on this Thursday evening, and I wanted sometimes you get a craving for a specific movie theater treat. Mine was a pizza. It wasn't that great because they changed up the recipe. This is getting a side tangent, but my icy was great. I always enjoy good icy and some popcorn, right? Anyways, I'm gonna go see it, and you know, for the most part, I was like, wow, this is like, if I thought Venom was gonna be a 5, this maybe was like, you know, it was a little bit higher than that. You know, I wouldn't say it's my top 10 movies of the year, but, you know, like I said, maybe top 20, you know. So let's get into what happened with Venom, right? So I'm this is not gonna be like a long video. I'm just trying to like get some feelings out, you know. So I went to the theater, you know, and right off the bat, my biggest issue I had before I saw the movie and why I didn't have high hopes for Venom was because I saw the storyline they're going with, which was Knull, who was like, you know, the creator and like god of the symbiotes or whatever. And the reason I said that is because Knull, for the most part in comics, was more of a fairly newer concept. I mean, when we come to the grand scheme of comics, you know, comics been around a long time. Knull has only been like existed for like a decade, you know, and to me that's not a long time in comic history. So I was like pretty excited for it. I mean, even our boy Andy Serkis, you know, was doing the stuff for it. So that was pretty cool. I didn't even know that till the credits started rolling, which I would have loved they advertised it. You know, I love Andy Serkis, but they I was like, yeah, that's cool to me. Explore more of the Knull symbiote god or whatever. I thought that would have been cool, but I felt for mainstream audience, they wouldn't have gotten it. So I was eating good, but maybe I knew they weren't. So that's why I thought it wasn't going to do well, mainly because I didn't think normies would enjoy that part. But opening scene, they introduced Knull right away, and they kind of give you his lore, which I was like, okay, that's something for people, you know, the people I brought to the movies with who don't read or eat or watch people, you know, make comic book videos for like an hour, video essays. They you know, they get it. They got it. This guy's, you know, he created the they explain the lore a little bit. I think enough for the average viewer to be like, okay, this is where the symbiotes come from, you know. And then, you know, that's when we finally get, so another issue though, I think this movie had was, it's just been so long since we've seen Venom, and then everything that happened in like No Way Home, and like, you know, we tease Spider-Man and then we don't tease Spider-Man, and then like a symbiote breaks off in one universe, and then it's like, and then, you know, I feel like most Marvel movies nowadays, they make fun of the multiverse stuff, but like, because, you know, I think a lot of people are tired of it, so they have to give that joke in, you know. I get it, right? So, and I believe I was reading an article, and I think they talked about how they retconned maybe one of the scenes, but it's so confusing because like, I remember like Venom 2, I don't remember, and I didn't feel like doing all the rabbit hole research again, because at one point I did remember it, but like in 50 years, none of us are going to care. Maybe some of you, but I'm not. So either they retconned it, or it was like, maybe people just misinterpreted it wrong. Anyways, so, you know, Venom, you know, explaining Thanos or whatever, and then he's trying to get an understanding of Thanos, and then he gets popped back to his universe, right? And we have the bartender's like confused, and then we get a little Venom singing tequila, and he's making himself tequila, but he's being hunted because for the murder of what's his name, Patrick Mulligan, the guy was investigating Brock during Venom 2, which was that one was a crazy movie, you know. But so yeah, Eddie's on the run, and then comes the part where, you know, he goes free some doggies, which is nice. But this is the part where I was like, okay, I'm a little impressed. So Venom is then fighting some bad guys, you know, who are dog fighters, right? Which I want to give props to the studio for. They're in Mexico, and they didn't give Mexico the Mexico filter. I want to give props for that. You know, they at least deserve something for not doing that. That's such a, like, I think, played out thing to do. But so this is the part where I was a little like, okay, here we go. So Venom is fighting these bad guys, and then we have this great song that starts playing that I believe Tom Morello did the guitar for. And this is like, you know what? I want to see more of this. I want to see, like, here we go, Venom just beating the crap out of bad guys. If we're going lethal protector, because they say that, like, I don't know how many times in the movie, you know, beating up dudes, right, eating people's heads off, which was pretty brutal and awesome, right? I want to see more of that. And it reminded me that one scene, which was like, I didn't get a whole lot of it, but like I feel like so many superhero movies, you know, they just kept going further and further and further up to the point where, like, we're in space, you know, and we're fighting intergalactic level threats, right? But it reminded me of, like, older superhero movies, like, you know, original Daredevil, like original Spider-Man, were like, we're just fighting the crime on the street. Like those Netflix Marvel shows, we're just fighting the crime on the street. And I kind of miss that. I kind of miss, like, going back to, like, those roots of, like, superheroes. Like, what are the little problems that us everyday people care about? Yeah, sure, I don't want Thanos to snap my family for 5 years away, but in the grand scheme of things, what am I going to do about it right now? That doesn't affect, I mean, I guess it technically does affect my everyday life, but, like, I can't see the battling happening. You know, if I was living in New York and Spider-Man saved me from a purse snatcher, you know, threatened me with a knife, I'd be grateful because I can see Spider-Man doing that. Yeah, I guess I miss the lower scale of superhero movies is what I'm saying. And I saw a little bit of that with Venom 3, just in that opening scene of him fighting dog fighters. So that was fun. Anyways, then we get the intergalactic stuff. So I guess there was a balance of that. And I have to say, these things, the xenophages, you know, basically the queen alien from Alien 2, the symbiote hunters, these things were terrifying. I mean, like, they were like meat grinders anytime they ate anything. Absolutely terrifying. These things freak me out anytime they're on the field, but they were awesome, right? But as we're going through the movie, though, yeah, because the storyline, you have these other storylines I don't really care about, like this general guy, and he's got his vendettas, and then this lady, she's got some whole thing of, like, my sibling was shocked by lightning because I was. Like, I feel like, personally, I was like, why am I seeing these people's characters fleshed out? But in a way, it pays off in the end, kind of, but also, like, just give me more Venom in a way. But I mean, I don't want to nitpick too much, but so yeah, they're decommissioning Area 51. I will say everything introduced at some point I feel was used later, right? So I have to give Sony that, you know. So yeah, they're testing on the symbiotes, and then we find out that, you know, I remember they did talk, this was shown, but Patrick Mulligan is still alive, which after surfing the web, surf the web, I had to do some research on this, you know, for once in my life, and I find out that this is Toxin, which I'm a little personally, like, hurt, because Toxin was a symbiote that I remember reading about when I was a very young kid in this, like, Marvel encyclopedia, and I was, like, obsessed with Toxin as just a symbiote. I don't know why. I just loved this, like, color scheme, and I felt like they did my boy dirty. But also, like, when Toxin was on the screen, I thought he was pretty cool. So if I never looked it up, I don't think I would have been upset. But I'm not necessarily upset. I just, you know, you keep introducing all these symbiotes and then they get blown away. I want more than just Venom, but also Venom's awesome, you know, whatever. Yeah, so that's, you know, neither here or there. So yeah, they're experimenting symbiotes, threat that's coming to Earth. This general got the stereotypical general guy who's like, no, we gotta like save our planet and destroy all of them, you know. But yeah, Venom's on the run. He's like, where should we go? And then it's like, he looks at the Statue of Liberty statue, little tiny one. We should go to New York. And I'm like, Spider-Man, yeah, let's go to New York. You know, I don't know what Spider-Man lives in this universe, but one's got to. It's either got to be Andrew Garfield at this point. I don't know. But so they're trying to get to New York, but they, you know, it's a road trip. You know, this is like a journey that like Venom and Eddie are taking. But like as I'm watching this, there are points where like I see that Eddie's just like, he's kind of a broken man, and I feel like the movie could have leaned more into this, where like Eddie's almost like, they could have made it for Eddie's like almost going insane to maybe he snaps and he does become more evil Venom. But like I said, this is Lethal Protector, so he's an anti-hero. But I'm gonna say the best part of the movie comes up when he's doing his Mecca to New York. He's in the Nevada desert and everything, and he runs across this family. This family, best part of the movie, in my personal opinion. You could have told this story to this family's entire perspective, and I would have loved it. I love this family. I was so attached to this family, and if anything bad happened to them, I would have rioted, you know. get it? Because it's a symbiote. Anyways, I would have been so upset. I mean, it was just a cute little family who was like, I mean, sure, they were a little quirky, and like it had the stereotypical like edgy teen girl who was like, oh, I don't like my family because I'm, and then had the little boy who's like, he's kind of there, along there for the ride, and he has this mystical wonder about life, and or whatever. But at the end of the day, you could tell that family all loved each other. Plus, it had Susan from Ted, so I was happy about that. It was a cute little family. They're a little quirky and weird, definitely conspiracy theory. But they were just trying to look for aliens. Little did they know they picked up an alien hitchhiker along the way. So, but there were moments where like Eddie's with this family and they're singing, they're having a good time. All the family's participating. They're singing David Bowie, and then Venom's like telling Eddie like, it would have been nice to have this. You would have been a great father. And it's like those moments where I'm like, there is some good story writing in here somewhere, because that is making me feel. And for me, that's all I could ask for in a movie. Make me feel something, right? And it did. Yeah, Eddie had his life, his career. He had the girl at one point, he could have had all that. And then this alien came and kind of like, I wouldn't say ruined it. It did change his life up a bit, and yeah, it was hard, but at the same time, like Venom, like is Eddie's like friend, they are like dependent of each other, and that bond that they form is like one that like we really explore throughout the film. And not to mention, this is just a side thing that I thought was fun in the movie. We saw a lot of different animal symbiotes, which was really cool. Horse Venom, fish Venom, frog Venom, and then and this is getting ahead of myself. In credits, we saw these different other Venom animals: elephant Venom, tortoise Venom, turtle Venom, whatever, kangaroo Venom. It was awesome, right? Alligator Venom. But we see that get explored, and it was really nice. It was really like sad. Like, yeah, Eddie's just kind of like this sad, broken man who's like, he's the fugitive now. He's doesn't have his career anymore, and all thing he has is this parasite symbiote living with him. It's really all he has going for him. And now he's got this giant alien hunting him down. Terrifying, right? So anyways, eventually after all that, he gets to Vegas, and there's some funny scenes where like, Venom learns what gambling is. Mrs. Chin is there. They have a nice little dance with ABBA, which was like, it was fun, right? We're in Vegas, baby. Viva Las Vegas, right? But then, government or whatever comes in, swoops them all up, and we gotta skedaddle out of here, and then, yeah, anyways, they get locked up in Area 51, get separated from Venom, but then that guy pops in and he's like, you know what? I'm taking you out, because if we kill the Venom, like we save the planet, basically. And then there's like some secret, even bigger organization looking in on them. Don't know who that is. I don't know if they don't really bring it up. I don't know. Who knows who that could be? But that all aside, eventually all the aliens break out thanks to like some of the scientists, which reminds me, there's a scene where they show one of the scientists, she's putting on different shoes, and then she puts a shoe in a cubby, and I'm like, is that gonna mean something later? I thought it was gonna be like, maybe her shoes have bacteria and she didn't change the shoes out, and like one of the things they're keeping some of the symbiotes in like tubes or whatever, and like in like the toxin in like a thing, because they don't want him to get sick from like human diseases. And I was like, is that somehow gonna get one of the symbiotes sick? But then later, like an hour later in the movie, pretty much, Venom actually grabs those shoes and puts them on, because there's a whole bit that the whole movie where Eddie keeps losing his shoes. So I'm like, did they really build that up just so Eddie can get those shoes? Because if they did, that is both funny and stupid. But I love when things are funny, so I'll give it a pass. So eventually we get the whole showdown. That family eventually does get to Area 51, because that's their whole goal, right? They want to see the dad wants to see aliens, the kids don't really care for the most part. And then they see aliens, and it's like, but like the moment when the family gets to Area 51 and they're like, and the daughter's like, you know what, Dad, it is kind of cool. And then they sneak into Area 51 and they have this moment where they're sitting on top of this like tower, and it's like you're seeing all the old equipment, and it's like kind of like he's like, this is sad that this is like being decommissioned and everything. And they have a nice little family moment, and then the aliens come, and he's like, aliens are real, I knew it. But that little moment was like, wow, like I said, I could watch a movie with this whole family. Like, give me a Marvel movie where in the perspective of just normal people like having to deal with all this crazy stuff. That would be a cool concept. And I love this family that was shown. And then Eddie comes, he's like, I'm your friend, I'll protect you, thanks for he thanks the kid for giving him a chocolate at one point. It's a nice moment. But the showdown, some of the other scientists and people helping, they get symbiotes, and then we get teased all these other cool symbiotes who like pretty much just get, it's a TPK at one point. We do get teased the other symbiotes of I think it was Agony and Lasher, so that was pretty cool. And yeah, so this was cool or whatever. The Christmas lady, that's a whole thing. But so yeah, we get the final battle, and this is where the movie takes a turn, and I'm like, wow, they they really did make me feel something towards the end. So at this part, it's our final stand. They're trying to do everything they can to stop these xenomorph baddies from like winning, right? People are dying, people are getting chopped up, people are getting meat grinded. It's brutal. And I'm like, what a rating for a PG-13 movie. I enjoy when they push the bar just a little bit. But at this point, Knull's like, I detect where there's some codex that helps him, that could help him get free from his prison. More lore stuff that most people don't care about. I do, but normies might not. If you do, then I'm not the person to tell you this. I mean, I could, but maybe a different video. But so at that point, Venom's like, I have to take my final stand here. I have to do everything I can to make sure these creatures don't get the codex that's inside them. So he sacrifices himself to do it. And it's kind of a sad moment, and then the general helps at one point, and they're spraying acid on these aliens and symbiote, and then Venom pushes Eddie out of him, and he's like, you're my friend, Eddie, and I hate to see you go, but I gotta make sure that like the planet's safe. It's a beautiful planet, and I wish I could live here forever, but I have to do what I gotta do. I'm the lethal protector, and I got a little teary-eyed in this point of the movie. I'll admit it. I didn't cry, but it was building up because I'm like, wow, this quirky little buddy cop duo, a broken man and his parasite alien who. It was sad. It was like kind of sad. And then the general dude or whatever, he blows himself up to help Venom destroy these things with acid, and then the scientist lady, that's when she becomes Agony, and she's got supersonic speed because she got struck by lightning, and then you mixed that with the symbiote. I don't know. Sadie Christmas was there. She's a character who likes Christmas. Yeah, so and then that was sad. And then after that, it's like, yeah, Venom sacrificed himself to save everybody and save Eddie. And then Eddie's like, wakes up. The U.S. government's like, you're pardoned, buddy. You're free to go. And then we see Eddie living his life in New York City. And we get the montage. We get like this flashback clips. Like Eddie's walking down, New York City, right? Walking down the New York City, the streets of New York. And it's playing like Maroon 5's Memories. And I'm just... And I started laughing because it in a way it fitted perfectly, but also it was so cliche. But then it started showing me all these clips of Eddie's like remembering Venom when he first met them, and all the clips from the various movies. And then I was like, oh, it immediately got funny, and then I got kind of sad. And I was like, oh man, that's like, it was such a stereotypical like flashback clip, but it kind of got me. I was like, oh, this is so cheesy, but also like, dang, Venom's gone. And I'm like, I was kind of sad. I never thought it'd be sad to like this montage of Maroon 5, but and then he grants Venom's last wish, which is to go. Venom wanted to go look at the Statue of Liberty. It was built to like greet newcomers, right? Visitors. So it was sad. It was sad, and then that's kind of like where the movie ends. And then it's kind of like, wow, that was a little touching, like I said, it was an alright movie. I didn't feel like I wasted my like $18 seeing that movie, and then another 18 getting snacks. But yeah, it was a solid movie. Not the worst movie I saw this year. Now you're probably wondering, what are the end credit scenes, right? So I'm gonna say this, there are two. So after we get like these cinematic credits of the movie, where it's like showing all the animal symbiote Venoms, which was pretty dope, and more music. Some of those songs in the movie was pretty tight, but the Maroon 5 one though. And then, but after all that, we get Knull saying that like pretty much, yeah, I'm now that like Venom's gone, I can tear things up. I'm gonna be free from this prison. You just watch. And I was like, okay, that's cool, I guess. And then this is where I was like, at this point, I'm ready to leave the theater because something didn't sit right with what I ate earlier. But like the credits took forever. Oh my gosh, like I felt like the credits went on for 10 minutes long. They just kept going. And then when it got to the so at this point of history, I'm sure most of us have all sit through credits because of what Marvel did, or I guess what Ferris Bueller started or whatever. And when they show music, usually they show the music, oh, we have like 2 songs on each side as the scrolls up. No, it went one by one each song, and I was like, why are these credits so long? It's almost like Sony knew we all were gonna sit back, but no, there was like just one line of credit. It was not like 2 lines. It just felt like it just kept going for like so long. And then it didn't even do like okay, credits are done, and then it shows the scene, and then it goes to like who made the movie. No, it shows all the credits, and then it shows like Columbia Pictures and then all these other studios that work for them. Like, why am I getting all this stuff? Just show me the end credit scene. I gotta go to the bathroom. So it finally does. And then basically this guy who's the bartender, who when I look on Google, it says his name's Eddie Brock. I don't know if that means anything. I don't know if it's a glitch, whatever. I don't think it's a big deal. If it is later, we'll all come back to this video. So you see the bartender. He walks out, confused as ever, because he gets captured in the beginning of the movie. And then the last thing you see is a little cockroach, which they did make a comment about cockroach earlier. Like I said, everything in this movie I felt was utilized at some point later. Was it utilized to the best ability? I don't know. That's up to you, the judge. Go watch the movie. But so you see the cockroach come up, and it's next to a tube that's kind of sparking, and that's it. It cuts to black. Now, from what I remember the movie, when they first talked to the bartender, they caught a little piece of symbiote that like Venom left, right? Just symbiote caught. And then there's a comment about cockroaches, how they survive for billions of years or something like that. I don't know. But if I remember correctly, when I saw the roach, I believe the roach had a little bit of the symbiote on it. So I'm assuming that tube belonged to the leftover of Venom from the bartender scene, and it's now in the cockroach. So maybe we'll find its way to Eddie, a different host. Who knows? I don't think Tom Hardy said he wants to come back for Venom. So I don't know what they're gonna do with it. Like I said, Sony is kind of weird with their IPs right now. So it most likely, I don't even, it goes anywhere. Even if it does, would I even care? But like I said, for the most part, Venom had the momentum a little bit, and it wasn't that bad of a movie. It surprised me. That's all I have to say. And that's all I really can say. Venom 3, The Last Dance. Go watch it if you will, but probably the next movie I'm seeing is Gladiator 2. Let's go. Juice out.
Spidey, can you get us Captain America's autograph?
Oh, brother.